Thank you very much for the nice introduction and good morning, everyone. It's such a joy to stand here this morning and to talk to you. Thank you also very much to the STEM as FEM organization to make this possible. And it's such a joy to look into the faces of so many young women who see the STEM as FEM project as a chance and the beginning of a journey to think about their values and also to think about their future and their skills in order to build their future and to build the world around them. You know, my journey started in a small town in Western Germany. I studied economics and bachelor and master degree. And I'm working for almost 14 years now in the fashion industry. And I'm very grateful about this experience in this industry because I had the chance to meet so many powerful, inspirational, and motivational women on my way. And I still remember them very, very well and what they told me on my way. And I also remember very well my last corporate job. This was at Zalando. Zalando is the huge, or the biggest European online retailer in fashion. And with 27, I got the chance to head the accessories and footwear department when I was working there. And I was responsible for almost 50 people and a turnover of over 1 billion euro. And when I talked about my job and my experience I had there in my position, I often got the feedback, yeah, you know, in fashion and in beauty, it's possible to get this kind of positions in that age. And I can remember that this made me so mad and this made me feel so small and this made me so angry because I worked so hard for this position that I started to question gender-based assumptions and that I started to question that social and political and economic equality for women is still a bit of a theory. And that's why I'm so happy to stand here today and to talk to you about this topic. And I called the presentation today, "The Ball is on Your Court," because I tried to remember in preparation for this speech, for this presentation, I tried to remember what motivated me when I was in your age, what inspired me when I was in your age. And then I remembered the time when I started to play tennis. So I was 5. I played it obviously only as a hobby, not in a professional way. But I remembered I started when I was 5, and when I was in your age, I was using every second, every minute to practice on court, to get better, to get even more professional. And what I liked about this sport is that I was alone on court, that I was in control, that I could dictate the game, that I did not have to rely on anybody else, because I could fight for each ball how I wanted. I could practice on my own how often, how intense I also wanted it. And it was not only a single sport, but it was the grateful experience that I had so many girls and women around me in my age who had the same passion, who had the same spirit. And this community led to the fact that from a certain point of view, lost my clicker, from a certain point of view, I realized, I knew that I can achieve something. This community, because we cheered each other on, we pushed each other to do better in tournaments, I realized that I can and I will succeed, and that I can achieve something not only in sports, but also in life. And I started to have a certain feeling in my stomach. I can remember very, very well. And this certain feeling, not only I had the feeling that I can achieve something and then I will succeed, this feeling was my belief. From a certain point, I started to believe in myself. I started to believe in my abilities. I started to trust in my skills. I had the confidence that I will win this game. And this feeling in my stomach area, I still have it today, and I can remember the situations when I have it, followed me not only in my sports career, but also in my professional career. And I just had it because 2 years ago I moved to Ukraine, I moved to Kiev. I stopped my corporate job in Berlin at ZALANDO and moved here, and I started a complete new firm to work with young Ukrainian fashion talents to build up their company, to build up a network to Germany, for example. And I came here, nobody I know exactly. I do not speak the language, still not. And I really had to start from scratch. And this feeling in my stomach, that belief, that still helps me to know the trust in my abilities, that everything will come out very well. And this is important for you to understand that you have to first believe in yourself before other people will do this. And you have to start to believe in what makes you unique. What is your characteristic, what makes you unique? And don't be afraid of this. It feels at the beginning a bit uncomfortable and a bit weird, and probably not everybody around you finds it very popular that you say, yes, I do believe in myself. And there always will be negative voices, either inside of you or outside of you. People who doubt you, or you doubt yourself. But it's very, very important that you always come back to this stomach feeling I just tried to explain you, to your belief that everything will come out well because you can trust in your abilities. And of course, it takes a bit more than just belief. You have to work for it. You have to work for it hard. And you have to work for it almost every day. And there will be also times of fear when you think, okay, I will not manage, I cannot manage it. And this fear is sometimes a bit paralyzing and makes you less bold and makes you less brave. But please don't underestimate yourself. You will have the power to fight through this fear and make it to the way you dream about. And when I continue preparing for today, I not only try to remember what motivated me at that time, but also who. So Serena Williams, you probably know her, one of the best sportswomen in the world, was at that time my absolute idol, because she was exactly what I just described. She had no fear, she had the courage to push through, and she trusted in her ability, her unconditional will to fight, and to also tell the world, listen, I will be the best sportswoman and the best tennis player in the world. And that was, or made her a little unpopular and a little uncomfortable, because this aggressive spirit of I will, I can, I know, was at that time really new and made it really different at that time. I personally found it very encouraging, and by now she proved well. She is the best tennis player in the world. She has 23 Grand Slam titles. She was over 300 weeks the #1 of the ranking list. And she's by now, with her spirit, with her passion, and with her story, one of the most famous women and inspirational women, not only for girls on the court, but also outside. And not only for Black women, but really for women across the globe. And while I did some further research, I found a very cool commercial from her she did last year for Super Bowl. And I would like to show you this commercial because this exactly summarizes why she is so inspirational and so powerful by today. And I hope this works now.
The world tells you to wait, that waiting is polite, and good things will just come.
Say you're sorry.
If I waited for change to happen, I never would have made a difference.
I have a daughter and I stand what's right for her and I've never cheated.
So make the first move. Don't wait to be told your place. Take it. Don't wait for people to find you. Find them. In work, in love, in life. And most of all, don't wait to be given power. We already have it.
And for me, this commercial is so powerful because it exactly summarizes what's important. I hope you can read it. It's also a bit light. So make the first move. Don't wait to be told your place. Take it. And for me, this is exactly what it is. And I'm really happy and I'm really proud that you already took the first place and took the first move to be today here with us and enjoy the next 2 days, so to say. So you already made the first move. And let me share with you that the picture on the left-hand side was taken in 1970, so exactly 50 years ago. And it seems a bit that since then, not so much has changed, because back in the days, these girls were fighting for equality and women are taken seriously. And it seems that we still have these topics by today. Just to give you 4 examples, still women are underrepresented in government. Only 1 of 5 seats in board functions are held by women. Still the gender pay gap exists, and still women are underrepresented in STEM jobs, why we are here today. And women historically, probably also in that time, but also recently, what I also experienced, had to listen to sentences and phrases like, yeah, this is a good idea, but we normally do it this way. Yeah, this is a good example, but let's do it maybe later. And when and why women do have to listen to these sentences? Because they were challenging the norm. They were challenging the standards that tried to challenge the status quo. And in order to take your place, to make the first move, you have to challenge. You have to make the world a little uncomfortable, because only this discomfort will create this change we need and will create the place you would like to have. And it's important because only this challenging and this questioning the norm and the standards will give us real representation and decision-making power. As I explained with these 4 examples, we're still far away from this situation. And before I close my speech now, let me tell you some last words. For me, it was today very important to see you here, to talk to you, because the ball is on your court. You can decide and dictate the game. You can make the first move, because you are the generation who can change and shape the future. And therefore, use the next 2 days or the upcoming hours to talk to each other, to get to know each other, to exchange with each other, and also in the future to support each other in a world where many men and many people still think they can do better and that, for example, STEM jobs are nothing for you. Because girls with dreams like you, and also I was, either it was in sports or in a professional career, will be one day women with a big vision, and will be also leaders who can empower other generations, who can empower other girls with their stories and their experiences. And we have to come together and carry out these visions and these dreams together, because it's not enough to only talk about equality and movement and challenging the status quo. We have to believe in it, and we have to start with it, and it's important that we start together with it, and it's important that we start today. Thank you very much.
Do we have questions?
Yes, I have a question. It tells that you're from a small city in Germany, and I'm not from big town too. And for me, important thing about my future. Next year, I will go to the university, and it means that I should go to the bigger city for satisfaction.
Not necessarily. I think this is what people always think. You have to go to a famous university or to a big city to reach something and to accomplish a good job in life. Like I told you, I come from a small city. It's like 10, 15,000 people living there. And it's really a small university. And still, I think it depends on what you dream about in life. I think it's good to have a good skill set, education, of course, but it's about also your vision, your skills, how to also implement this in your life. So, for me, it was also not a choice because I wanted to stick to my family and to be close with my family, and this gave me no disadvantage to stay in a smaller town and not go to a big city and study there. So I think it's also what you make out of it and how to interpret and put it in your business and working career.
Can you tell more about your job? How did you start your business?
So I started my business here in Ukraine. As I said, I'm working for almost 14 years in the fashion business. And last job was about working at ZALANDO, so a lot e-commerce focused. And I was responsible for almost 400 brands. And my husband moved a couple of years before here to Kiev, so I joined him always back and forth between Berlin and Kiev. And I also joined the Kiev Fashion Week. And I realized how much potential brands, young creative people here in Ukraine and Kiev have. So, and I saw that this creativity and these brands and this design was missing in our portfolio at ZALANDO. So I decided to have also a passion for me to move also to Kiev. And the idea of my business is to work with Ukrainian designers. Either they're already a bit more established or still very young at the beginning of their business and their career. And we are working together to develop a strategy to connect them to European retailers, online, offline, and to bring their creativity and fashion to Europe, to the rest of the world. Because, yeah, the talent is here, and I think it's important to give these talents support and a network and a possibility to develop outside Ukraine. And this is the idea of the business and what we do. I wouldn't say it's necessary, but for me it was very helpful to look up to someone. And back in the days I told you there was Serena Williams, but also later, what I explained at the beginning, I chose probably in every company, in every job I had, one person, could be woman or man, it doesn't matter the sex, who had this kind of skill set, this attitude, the way of working, who I started to observe and to admire. Of course, I also adopted certain things, what I really liked, but it inspired me and gave me a certain vision how and where I want to be in 10, 5, 20 years. So this was always a vehicle, a support function for me to see, okay, in 10 years I would like to be like her, or I would like to have the skills like her or like him. So I think it's really helping you from a mindset perspective to choose, and can also be your mother or your friend, to have a certain skill set, a certain characteristic or talent which inspires you to also develop. So I think it's always helpful to have something like this. For me, the most important skills you should have is to be open-minded. To be always open for new ideas, for new impressions, for new directions, for new ways. Because this also helped me back in the days to, after 5 years, change my direction, to move to Berlin. And since then, I realized that I developed even further because I was confronted with new things which maybe were a little uncomfortable at the beginning, but this discomfort, what I just explained, this, I always call it for myself growth pain. I first of all hate it, but then in the end, it's just really so easy to achieve it. And this being open-minded and not like scared, okay, this I never have done before, so I'm not going to do it. Be open-minded, try things out, and then you will see that you develop and further go the direction you thought you would never go. Of course, like I said, hardworking, be ambitious. But I think these are skill sets which you probably always have in your DNA. But for me, this being open-minded, being ready to move in each direction, see what comes, because I have the trust that anyway, everything will come out good. I think this is a good skill set I always found helpful for me.
What plans do you have for the next some years?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
What plans do you have for some next years in your career?
Oh wow, this is a good question. So as I'm still at the beginning here also in Ukraine, and also with my business still at the beginning, I would like to professionalize my language skills, because I think it's important to also learn a bit the language where you are to communicate also better. So this is first. The second thing is to broaden my network, to start getting in touch with more people, to get also more impression, like this open-minded, to get some more ideas from the people and the experts here in Ukraine. And I would like to invest even stronger in the talents and in the creative scene here in Ukraine. So the second phase of my company will be also financial support of Ukrainian brands and talents in order to make it even more serious to bring them to European countries. So this would be, I think, my top 3 for the next years.
Why work with Ukraine? What are the reasons you have been persecuted? Why Ukraine?
So first of all, I already explained, my husband moved here 3 to 4 years ago, also to work here in Ukraine. He's actually from Holland, so we're mixed and match, met in Berlin. So he's here already for 3 to 4 years, and we were flying back and forth every week. So by that, I got to know Ukraine and Kyiv a bit more in detail, so to say. And I also was a bit fed up with this corporate life back in Berlin, because it was very standardized. If you had a new idea, it took ages to put this through into the business. And so I started to wake up, okay, what else can give me the power and the passion to get up every morning and to be motivated, to have good ideas and to also implement it fast. And by being here and seeing really the potential and the people who have a good entrepreneur thinking and passion to try things out, for me it was the natural way to choose then also Ukraine to start and help the emerging economy and people to go even a step further.
In our age,
You go first and then last row.
in our age, you know what you want to do, or you just try in different places, communicate with different people, and understand only in future?
When I was in your age, I had no idea what will be my profession. And that started only when I was around 18, 19, I would say. So I started, as I said, my economics study. And right next to my university was a brand, a fashion brand called JOOP. This is a German premium brand. And there were like very cool people running into this building. And then I started to, okay, maybe this could be a direction I'm interested in. And then I did an internship. And I really liked it because this company was also a bit like this here, very, very open space, creative, open-minded, cool people. And this spirit I liked. It was not necessarily fashion, what I was so interested about, but it was the spirit and the people around me where I felt this could be a place where I want to stay and where I can learn a lot. So it was not exactly the industry, but more the people who started to fascinate me. This is the first time that I am working or studying abroad. So, like I said, I was very home connected to my family, and I never had the courage to even do a study abroad. So it's really the first time that I'm living and working abroad. And everybody who knows me, like 10, 15 years ago, they are always very surprised. What, Sabrina, you working in Ukraine? What are you doing there? We can remember you from back in school, that you were like, okay, I'm not sure to move even to a bigger city. And I have to say this experience gave me also the courage to think even further and to say, yeah, maybe in 5 or 10 years, we would even move again, and maybe there is also a cool project which we could start and build up and help people to develop and support each other. Because this I found for myself very important, to work with people and to see a purpose in the job I'm doing. And this would be then probably also the question mark where to go, and depending on where I can have a purpose.